The question is, what would happen if the entire internet system was shut down for 100 years? Imagine the photon stream that is 255 terabits of data per second, converted into light particles and slithering through the ocean floor through the world's 570 submarine cables, suddenly stopped. Imagine the Ku-band transmitters of the 6,500 Starlink satellites floating in the sky simultaneously disabled. Imagine the last HTTP GET request of the edge server of every content delivery network timing out. The silence we are talking about is not a lack of sound. It is a flat line in the electroencephalogram of civilization. The shutdown of the internet means the desynchronization of the combined neural networks of 4.66 billion people. Now let's see what exactly is going to happen to this planet from the first hour to a century. First 1 minute, Border Gateway Protocol mass suicide. In the first second of the event, the Border Gateway Protocol, known as the Internet's postman, will completely grind to a halt. What does this mean? Border Gateway Protocol is the protocol that routes traffic between more than 70,000 autonomous systems. Without it, IP packets will lose their destination, just as if every street name in a city were erased at the same time. Even if Google.com's IP address were known, no one would be able to provide a map to get to that address. At the same time, algorithmic trading in global financial markets would cease, causing $160 million in transactions per minute to disappear. Interbank transfers would come to a complete halt as the SWIFT network would be down, and the direct result would be an immediate paralysis of international trade. First 10 minutes, mass confusion in the sky. In the first 10 minutes, the time signals from the 31 operational satellites of the Global Positioning System will be disconnected. The atomic clock information contained in the GPS signal is essential not only for location, but also for synchronizing telecommunications networks and determining the phase angle of the power grid. Without this signal, the inertial navigation systems of the approximately 11,000 passenger aircraft in the sky will continue to drift at a rate of 1.5 kilometers per hour. Pilots will look for old VOR, VHF omnidirectional range stations, but most developed countries' VOR stations have already converted to GPS-based systems and removed the old transmitters. As a result, planes will float in the dark and try to make an emergency landing on the nearest visual runway. The first 1 hour, heat death of data centers. Within an hour, a silent crisis will begin in each of the 8.5 million data centers in the world. 40% of the electricity consumed by these vast facilities is just to run the cooling systems. With the internet down, load balancers won't work, leaving thousands of server racks idle and generating heat. But the biggest disaster will be the collapse of the DNS, domain name system. Every one of the world's 13 root name servers is down. This means that even if you type something into a browser, there will be no way to convert that human-readable text into a machine-readable IP. The World Wide Web still exists, but it's now a vast library with the table of contents torn out of every book. First 24 hours. The digital backbone of the supply chain is broken. By the end of the first day, the just-in-time model of the global economy will collapse. Firmware updates for each of the 1,400 semiconductor chips needed to make a modern car are now impossible. Production lines at automakers Toyota, Volkswagen, or General Motors will shut down within 24 hours because supply chain visibility software, such as SAP Ariba, cannot track any purchase orders. Supermarket shelves will start to empty, but not for lack of food, but for lack of packaging materials. The injection molding machine that makes the plastic lid of a typical yogurt cup will now have its PLC controller inoperable without a digital configuration file. First week, healthcare amnesia. After 7 days, the healthcare system will suffer a devastating regression. Electronic health record, EHR systems, will lose connectivity to the cloud and be stuck on local servers. But most hospitals will not even have the old client software to access those local servers. The consequences will be dire. A doctor will not be able to see a patient's previous ECG report, will not know if the patient is allergic to penicillin. The most terrible will be the collapse of the pharmaceutical supply chain. The cold chain monitoring system that keeps everything from blood test reagents to cancer chemotherapy drugs at the right temperature will be paralyzed without the internet. Millions of doses of life-saving drugs will be wasted without notice. Month 1. Burning the great library of knowledge. After a month, we will realize that we have not only lost communication, we have burned the Library of Alexandria, this time digitally. Wikipedia's 6.8 million articles, Google Scholar's 389 million research papers, Archive.org's petabytes of data. All there, but 0 readers. No new research will be published because the peer review system has completely collapsed. Genome sequencing laboratories will not be able to function because NCBI's GenBank database cannot be accessed. If a new RNA virus emerges during this time, humanity will not be able to reverse engineer its genetic code for decades. First 6 months, grid synchronization failure. Within 6 months, the fundamental stability of the power grid will be lost. The phase measurement units of modern smart grids rely on GPS timestamps. Without this synchronization, frequencies between power plants and substations will not be matched. If a large power plant trips, load-sharing algorithms will not work, triggering cascading blackouts. Large networks like the Eastern Interconnection in North America or the ENTSOE grid in Europe will be fragmented. Once the power goes out, water treatment pumps will stop, sewage systems will be paralyzed, and cholera and typhoid will return to cities in the developed world. First year, civilization's information drought. Instead of celebrating the first anniversary, it will be a day of mourning. Computer science classes in universities will be closed. Students will no longer know what data structures are or how the TCP/IP protocol stack works. Software engineering will become a lost art. Satellites in the sky will slowly drift out of orbit because no one will have the software or manpower to analyze their telemetry data from ground stations. With no warning system about the space debris accumulating in low Earth orbit, Kessler syndrome will eventually become inevitable, where one collision will spawn thousands of collisions, making space inaccessible forever. Year 5. The Paleolithic return of the economy. In 5 years, the global economy will return to the infrastructure of 1870. The only means of international trade will be Morse code radio, powered by the telegraph. Ships will fill ports, but it will take weeks to get customs clearance because every bill of lading is hand-signed on paper. The world's population will begin to decline. Although the birth rate will increase, the infant mortality rate will increase to 1950 levels because the cold chain of vaccines has been broken and common diseases like pneumonia or diarrhea can no longer be treated with antibiotics because there is no laboratory network to check the quality of antibiotics. Year 10. The Second Great Language Divide. In 10 years, the linguistic map of the world will change. English will lose its status as the global lingua franca because there is no Hollywood or Netflix. Local dialects will make a strong comeback and mutual intelligibility will continue to decline. The young generation that is now in its teens is not a digital native. It is an analog native. They rely on library books as their only source of information, but the machinery needed to run the printing press is stuck in customs. As a result, the distribution of knowledge is being set back a century, back to the pre-Gutenberg era. 25 years, the mind of Generation Zero. A quarter of a century will see permanent changes in the neuroplasticity of the human brain. The new generation of children have never seen a hyperlink. They don't know how to scroll. Their thinking is completely linear. There won't even be a math teacher who can understand the complex equations of modern physics. We knew that the universe began with the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago. This information is now just a belief, not a provable fact. The images taken by the Hubble Space Telescope will never be seen again because the software to decode the file format for that data storage has been lost. 50 years, the electronic version of the new Stone Age. 50 years from now, humans will finally rebuild communications, but it will be with Morse code and vacuum tubes. The technology to lay fiber optic cables still exists, but the supply chain for the laser diodes and erbium-doped fiber amplifiers required is lacking. Humans will use radio waves, but the atmospheric ionosphere has become so erratic that long-distance communication is unreliable. Countries are now completely isolated. The east coast of the United States doesn't know if a tsunami has hit the west coast until a messenger arrives on horseback. 75 years, the second age of discovery, very slow. In 75 years, humanity will not have reinvented the wheel, but it will have to reinvent the transistor. Existing transistors still work, but there is no capacity to build the lithography machines needed to make new ones. As a result, every electronic device will become a priceless asset. Anyone can turn on a working computer, but the knowledge of how to load an operating system after the BIOS is now only a fairy tale written in history books. People are again doing math with slide rules and determining direction by looking at the stars in the sky. A century, echoes of a forgotten species. In 100 years, a new human civilization will have emerged on Earth, but it will be of a completely different species of mentality. They will know that ironbirds once flew in the sky, but they will not know what the compression ratio is inside a jet engine. They will know that people once went to the moon, but they will not be able to prove that it was actually possible because the source code of the Apollo guidance computer is nowhere to be found. The civilization of 2026 will be a myth to them, like the story of Atlantis to us. Humanity will survive, but it will be an amnesiac species, which has lost the memory of its greatest achievements. Final words: the last journey of the photon. The internet shutdown is not just a disconnection. It is a surgical removal of the temporal lobe of human civilization. If we lose this nervous system of modern civilization, we will lose our collective memory, our ability to debate, and most importantly, our map of the future. In that world, no one will ever ask, what if the internet goes down? Because in that world, the word internet will have no meaning. The silence will be so deep that no photon particles will ever again tell the story of binary ones and zeros through optical fibers lying beneath the surface. Be sure to comment on our video and let us know how you liked it. And if you like watching videos like this, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for watching the video to the end.